Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, welcome to Correlation Nation. This is PropSpot, and we are going to go over today's slate, try to find the best props, players, roles. We'll just go over everything and try to find the best props to place. I'd like to start off with stating that this is not advice. This is just my projections and what I use to place my bets on a daily. I have a system that I use that help me figure out a number based off, you know, obviously opposing defenses and the current role, with injuries, different things of that matter, using their per 36 and yada yada yada. And anyways, I use that information to come up with these projections. The reason that I'm making these video and posting them is because I have noticed that even though I've not had the best luck putting together my parlays, I tend to chase. I go over all this work at the end of the night, and I am seeing that most of this work is actually very good. And typically, the stuff that is killing my parlays is in the work. Like it's actually showing me that I shouldn't be using this. And because I'm chasing these numbers, I tend to put it in my parlays anyways, and it just screws everything up. And so it occurred to me that even though I'm not having luck using this information, if I share it with somebody else, maybe they could use it to, help benefit their own bets. So anyways, that's why I'm using it. Now let me jump over here real quick to my notes. Drag this down here. And usually I start with rebounds. So we'll start with Sabonis. Sabonis is in a pretty good matchup. Just to kind of show you right here, you got Sabonis at the top. He's in a good matchup as of late. They have the matchup's not been so good. That's why the red line underneath the plus sign is red. And then on points, maybe not the best matchup, but towards the bottom end, and it's been pretty tough as of late. But I'd say the rebound prop 11. I mean, he's a dominant rebounder, so I don't think he's a leading rebounder in the league. And if you can get it at 10, I'd probably take it at 10. 11, I mean, you can take it, but again, just bear in mind that lately the matchup has been kind of tough. Anthony Davis, I'd like to go ahead and mention that he should be questionable, so we'll put a little Q tag on him. I'd say he's likely to play based off the information that I've gathered. But again, one of the things that I would like to note and express to everyone that may watch this is that I do not love playing players or placing bets on players that are coming off of injury. Now, I know that his was an eye injury, but again, you don't know how many, you don't know what his role is going to be. You don't know where he's at, how well he's going to play. I mean, there's a lot of different variables. And so because of that, plus it's Anthony Davis. I mean, we all know that this dude is always looking for a way out. So, yeah, just be careful. Anthony Davis, great matchup for rebounds. And then, the points. I'd say if you can get him at 21, 22 points, it is a good matchup. Again, just be really, really cautious with this due to the fact that he's coming off injury. LeBron is in a good matchup. He's been pretty hot as of late. Yeah, he's old, but the production's still there. 7 rebounds, 20 plus points, 8 assists. I do really like the 8 assists. I mean, he's been crushing this. It's point LeBron basically. 7 rebounds, pretty good. Not a dominant rebounder, and really just kind of depends on the opposing team that he's going against. Where is he going to be positioned on the floor? But I'd say 6-7 rebounds is pretty doable. And then LeBron's known to hit 20 plus points like on the regular. Now this year's been a little bit different where he does kind of hit just below that a little bit. He may hit 16, 17, 18. But because it's a pretty good matchup, I think that you can take him at 20 points and feel pretty confident in that. Vucevic. So it's not the worst matchup for rebounds. Maybe not the best, because I want to say that, are they playing against Portland? DeAndre Ayton's been playing really well. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct, but either way, um, he's one of the better rebounders in the league. So I think you can get him at 10 rebounds. You feel pretty good about that. I always feel like when you're looking at this, and I got 10 with a reasonable matchup right underneath it, if you can get him at 8, 9 at a decent number, yeah, of course you're going to take that. But 10, you're not going to feel awful about either. Now, one thing that I'd like to point out is this team's pretty depleted right now. And so offensively, this is not the worst matchup either. And so he actually was pretty hot here recently, and he's had a couple down games. I don't feel like that they're necessarily slumps, but it was just other players were playing really well. DeRozan's also been playing pretty well lately, so, they could just play this back and forth deal. But, at 19 points offensively, I think that's pretty reasonable. So if you can get him around that number, you're going to feel pretty good about that. It is a good position, I would say. Bam's, he's in a pretty good spot. 9 rebounds, 16 points. Yeah, I mean, I think you take that. I don't know. I'd have to look at the lines on these, like as far as like who the opponent is, and is it a wide line? But he hits 9 rebounds pretty consistently. He's actually been crushing the glass lately. So 9 is I don't even know if you can get a good number on that because he's been killing it. You could probably even take him at 10. That's what this green arrow up here is. So you could go 10, 11 rebounds probably, but I'm gonna feel a lot better at 9, bearing it's a decent line. Allen, 10 rebounds, 10 points. Yeah, you can take it. Either one of those I think are fine. One thing I'd like to mention, and this goes for all players, you want to make sure that the bets you're placing on players, or at least, one of the things I use, guidelines I go by, is Allen, Vucevic, Sabonis, AD. All these guys are really good rebounders. And so if you can get a good line, if they're in a good spot and you can get a good line on their rebound number, I'm going to feel a lot better about that than taking, like I say, a smaller number on a guard or something. Like, I want to place a rebound prop on a guy that is in a position to get rebounds. I don't want to do it on a guard that, maybe he does decent at getting rebounds, but it's just based on, certain circumstances. Whereas a center is literally down low. And this is something else you got to take into account, is you really have to look at the matchups, because when you got a guy like, say, Chet Holmgren, say, just for an example, one of these good rebounders, like Sabonis or Vucevic or somebody like that, is, going against Oklahoma or let's say the Spurs, with Victor Wembanyama. If they're going to get somebody like that may pull them away from the basket because of their offense, then that may hurt their rebounding numbers. And this is something that you have to take into account. Now, it's not always easy to, figure up a number based on these things, but it's something that you definitely want to take into account when you're looking at your matchups. Like, it may say, oh, it's a good matchup on paper, but, this could really mess with the numbers that say the center is getting. So anyways, moving on. Ayton's been red hot lately. That's why I got him marked orange right here. Dude's been on fire. I will say right now that yes, he's been on fire, and I think these numbers are all doable. The dude is super inconsistent throughout his career, and so I would definitely take a flyer on this. But as I was saying earlier, these are the type of things that I'll put in my parlays that'll just kill him. Is like, I know this guy is inconsistent as all heck, so even though he's been playing really, really well lately, and 10 rebounds, 20 points is pretty likely, I'd probably take him, 18 points, honestly, is probably a little bit better number on him. And honestly, his rebound prop, you could probably go a little bit higher. But, yeah. Just keep in mind, dude's inconsistent, and at any point this dude can just, show the 8 and of old. So be careful with that guy. Capella's been in a pretty good role lately. Okongwu and all them are injured. So, 10 rebounds, 10 points, pretty doable. He's not a guy that is really relied on for offense, but, if he's getting the rebounds and getting putbacks, he's probably going to get there in points. But, yeah, just keep that in mind. That's a guy that, he's a pretty strong rebounder, but, again, not really relied on for points. So, keep that in mind with the points prop. 10's pretty low, but and it's pretty doable. But again, there's a lot of variables on that. Jalen Johnson, 7 rebounds, 18 points. This team needs the offense, so I think 18 points is pretty doable. But again, that's a pretty volatile bet. I'd say 7 rebounds. Yeah, he can get there, but not the greatest matchup. So do what you will with that. Duren, pretty tough spot. 10 rebounds, 11 points. You can see orange matchup and red matchup on the points prop. I don't know. Dude's pretty good. I think, if this dude's running 30-plus minutes, he's pretty likely to hit these numbers. He's just that good of a player. Very dominant rebounder, and, the offense is typically there too. And I think Cade's probably not playing. Maybe he will, but there's a chance he doesn't play. So, it might be a little bit more need for some offense. So 10 rebounds, 11 points, pretty realistic. Asar, I think that dude's, I don't know. We're going to put a Q tag on him. I think that dude's hurt, so we'll put a Q tag on him. Stewart, 6 rebounds. You can see the rebound is highlighted yellow. That's because he's not a dominant rebounder, so that's pretty volatile. He might get to that number quite a bit. But, again, the thing that I'd really like to point out to people that on certain players, again, as I said about the rebound prop, you want a guy that's in a position to get those rebounds. And a guy that's playing center, that's playing a secure role, and is a dominant rebounder is a guy you want to play a rebound prop on. The roles, like I said, it's all baked in. Now, when you're looking at a guy like Stewart, he may have a pretty consistent role. However, he's what I'd like to call a gap filler. He's going to get rebounds, most certainly, but they're going to be rebounds that, Stewart doesn't get and the opposing team doesn't get. You can't really rely on this guy to get big rebound props. Now, if he's filling in for Stewart at center, I'm going to feel a lot better about this 6. Maybe even go up to 7, 8. I don't know what his per 36 is, but again, I look at this guy as a gap filler, and that goes the same with the points. He's likely to get to this 10 points. He's more than capable of doing that. But again, this is all dependent on what the rest of the team is doing. That's the way I see these type of players. And there's a lot of guys throughout here. Like JJ is really like that to me too. But again, you got Trey Young's out, and Bogdan's potentially, he's sick, I think. There's a lot going on with this team where, they're pretty depleted, and, the offense may be required. Again, you can't really bank on that, but again, it's really just trying to process this information as it comes to you. So anyways, just like to mention that. Hartenstein, 6 rebounds, pretty dominant rebounder, rolls a little bit up in the air, I think. I think he's kind of matchup dependent, but I'd say 6 rebounds, a very low number on this guy, and more than doable. I think got him at 5 rebounds. It was like a same game parlay, but I got him at like 5 rebounds earlier, so I'd say he's pretty live for that. Precious, same thing, very good rebounder, but kind of a gap filler and is dependent on what the rest of the team's doing. Hart. All right, this guy is not a center, but very energetic and is going to hustle to get rebounds, and has been just absolutely killing it on the board. So I actually like Hart at 8 rebounds, 7 points. I didn't find this number. I would take him at 7 points. Yet capable of doing more, but against offensively he's a gap filler, so I'm not going to rely on him for points anyways. Miles Turner, 7 rebounds. I don't know, his per 36 on rebounds is much better than he's been showing this year, but 7 rebounds is doable. Not the greatest matchup, and I don't love it, so I'm not going to be playing a lot of that. 12 points, I think, is pretty doable. Yeah, I think that number is pretty realistic. But again, tough matchup. Siakam, same thing. Not a crazy dominant rebounder. I got him at 7 rebounds too. Now, I'd say his role and his minutes are a little bit more secure than even Miles. and 17 points. Pretty doable, but tough matchup. Tatum, questionable. I don't know if he's playing or not. 6 rebounds. His per 36 is better than that. Tough matchup. I would say that's doable. And 26 points. The points prop I don't love. I mean, it looks like it's a pretty good matchup on paper. They've been tough lately, but it's a 3-game sample size, so you don't want to put too much into that. 26 points is more doable for Tatum. But, they have enough offensive players to go around that, if White goes off, Jaylen Brown goes off. Which Jaylen Brown, I'd like to mention, Jaylen Brown's been red hot lately, so you got to be really, really careful, playing a number as high as 26 on Tatum when you got another guy that is absolutely crushing it offensively. You may end up around 21, 22 if he plays. Reed, 7 rebounds. Yeah, he's a volatile play. You don't know what the role's going to be. I think Mo Bamba's actually been starting, but he is a pretty good rebounder. 7 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I just have it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm not going to be running a place this bit, but anyways, it's there. Tobias Harris has been really, really cold lately. Looks like he's got a Q tag on him. He's been hurt, sick, wore down. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's not been playing great. Not a dominant rebounder. Got him at 5 rebounds. It's live, but again, because he's been in a slump, I don't love it. But again, this guy could turn it around at any given point. Same thing with the points prop. Probably not placing these bets just due to the fact that this guy, Tobias Harris, is absolutely cold right now. Then we got JJJ, which is Jalen Johnson. Or no, it's Jaren Jackson Jr., sorry. 6 rebounds. This guy is super inconsistent on the boards. To start this season, well, at least when he was playing, I was actually, and I'm not somebody that places a lot of unders, but I was placing under 6 rebounds on this guy left and right. Now he's been a little bit better lately, and their team's getting a bit healthier with like Bane coming back and everything. The offense rolls really good. I do trust him a lot more offensively than I do getting rebounds. The issue with him in the past has been his ability to stay on the court, due to foul trouble and stuff. So he's also been a lot better about that as well. So 18 points I think is pretty realistic. Aldama at 5 rebounds, I feel not too bad. At 4 or 5 rebounds, not bad. Not the best matchup, but I think the role's fairly secure, so you can look to snipe that if you can find it. Bane, 3 rebounds. I just have it. I don't really. Again, this is not a guy that's going to be in a position to get a lot of rebounds. So I'm not going to advise anybody to run to bet the 3 rebound prop. It's probably doable if you look at the numbers. 17 points. The role's going to be there, obviously. They don't have anyone else, so, other than Jaren Jackson, so I'd say 17, 18 points is pretty realistic for Bane. Honestly, he could probably smash that. Walker Kessler, 8 rebounds. Yeah, roles vary up in the air. Who knows what it's going to be, but 8 rebounds, he's pretty good rebounder. So bearing that he gets the minutes, I would say that he's pretty live. He gets that 8 rebound mark. Collins, I'd say his role's a lot more secure, so I have him at a 7 rebound, 10 point, with the green arrows showing that there's potential for more. I think he's a lot more live for 8 rebounds, 12 to 14 points. Now, I'd like to mention that with Collins, here's the thing. His rebound prop is going to be a lot safer than his points prop. So his points have been up pretty good. But if Lauri Markkanen comes back, I'd say that there's a chance that he's not going to get as many points as he has been here recently. So, and actually, I think that's why I have him at 10 points. I think that's kind of baked into my number. So 10 points, not the worst. 7 rebounds. Again, these are tough matchups. But I'd say he's pretty live for those numbers. Lauri at 5 rebounds, 18 points. This dude's coming off injury. I'm not sure if he's even playing yet or not. I don't even have a Q tag on him, but I'm not sure if he's playing or not. I'm probably not going to place any bets on Lauri, simply because, like I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of placing bets on guys that are coming back from injury. You just don't know what their minutes are going to be. You don't know how they're going to play, whether they're really in game shape, whether they're coming in and firing on all cylinders, whatever. So, not running to place those bets. Gobert's pretty questionable, I'd say. From what I understand, is he took a shot to the ribs and it didn't look so good. So, yeah, 11 rebounds, 11 points. So if he's playing, he's live for a double-double. Yeah, I'm not running to bet that either, just due to the fact of injury. Anderson, I think he's questionable as well. Yeah, you can just pretty well scratch that. 3 rebounds. Nas, yeah, this guy, if Gobert's out, I would say Nas Reed's pretty live for, the 12 points, 5 rebounds. I'd say that's pretty likely. So keep your eye on whether Gobert plays. And honestly, even if he does play, the 12 points is, yeah, it's probably still pretty live with Anderson being questionable. So keep your eye on that. Brandon, this is Brandon from the Warriors. 4 rebounds, 7 points. You see I got the 7 points highlighted. Pretty volatile bet. He's a gap filler again offensively. He's not going to be really relied on too much to score. But he's a pretty high energy rebound guy. And honestly, I was betting 6-7 rebounds earlier in the year and actually hitting that. That number's come down, but his production with it has also come down a little bit. But I think he's like a 7-8 per 36 guy, and he is playing right around 30 minutes a game, sometimes more. So I think 4 rebounds is more than doable for this guy. It is kind of a tough matchup, but at least on paper. But I think 4 rebounds for Brandon's pretty live. Wiggins, 4 rebounds, 14 points. Yeah, I'm not, Wiggins is inconsistent. This is a tough matchup for him. I don't know. You do what you will with those numbers. Kuminga's been on fire lately offensively. He's not a consistent rebound guy, so I'm not running to bet the rebound prop. But at 19 points, it's pretty live. He's hit this number pretty regularly lately. Like I said, just red hot offensively. But, again, Curry coming back. Curry's going to take the bulk of the shots. This guy's basically right behind him. And, if you can get that number, it's not the worst thing. It is a tough matchup, but I don't know. I'd probably take him lower than that. If you can find the number lower than that prop, 16, 17 points, that's probably better, honestly. If you can find Kuminga. I mean, some of these same-game parlays, you'll be able to be like Kuminga at, like, plus 15. Again, the odds on that aren't probably going to be very good, but I'm just looking for it to build a parlay, and I'd take it. Green, 5 rebounds. Yeah, he's actually been rebounding the ball pretty well, but this is a tough matchup, and Green's not like the best rebounder in the world, so, do what you will with that. Now, Garland's going to be in a position to dominate the ball. It's a good matchup, and 15 points. I don't know, just you'll probably be able to find that number, but again, if you're not, and you look to find it in a parlay or like a same game parlay, I'd say you'll be able to find the plus 15. I'm not going to go place a bet that's much higher than that, but 15 points is more than reasonable. And Anthony Edwards, yeah, dude's on fire too. 25 plus points. I mean, he's been crushing this number. Here's the thing about this guy, though. This guy, I don't know. People hype this guy up so much, and while I do think he is a very good player, he's super young still, and the dude's pretty inconsistent. I mean, he may have a stretch, like 4 or 5 games, 3 or 4 games, whatever it may be, where he's, shooting the ball really well or scoring really well and putting up, big offensive numbers. But, bam, just like that, it's like a 7-point game, and I see it happen all the time with this guy. And so, yeah, I believe that the NBA or in most sports are a game of streaks. Right now, this guy's on a hot streak, so you definitely don't want to discredit, what he's doing, but just be careful. Like I said, this guy at any point can put up a dud of a game, and there's some players, I mean, again, any player can do that, but he's a guy that shows it more than others, or other like all-star caliber players. And so, yeah, just beware of that. Jaylen Brown is, I mentioned this earlier with Tatum, dude's on fire offensively, 25 plus points. Pretty live, I would say. You can probably find this number lower. And honestly, anytime you got a guy like this that's on fire, if you can get a lower number at close to even odds, you just take it. I mean, why? Unless you're just chasing the numbers, which I tend to do, you can get this number at 21, 22 points, feel pretty good about it. Makes it a lot more live to hit, knowing that the dude's been on fire. Now, I'd like to mention he is questionable, so just wait and see whether he plays or not. But, yeah, the number's live. D'Lo, 17 points. He's going to be playing third fiddle, I would say, to LeBron and Anthony Davis. But, again, Anthony Davis is coming off injury, may not even play. I'm not really sure yet. And D'Lo can hit 17 points pretty easily. So I think the 17 points is a pretty reasonable number, as well as Reeves at 12. Reeves can hit a lot more than that, given, the past few games when he's given a bit more of a role. The dude's hitting 16 to 18 points pretty consistently. So I think he's pretty good offensively. And just given the right role, the dude can put up offensive numbers. But again, this really just kind of comes down to the role. And with everyone healthy, if everyone's playing, D'Lo, Reeves, they're kind of gap fillers to Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So just keep that in mind. Murray, let's see, 21 points. Yeah, the dude has got the role. I mean, the team's depleted right now, and so he's going to dominate the ball. He's in a good matchup. 21 points is more than live. Now, I will say right now, this guy does a lot more than just score the ball, and I like him at a lower number. I know this guy can go off for much more, 30-plus points easily, but he's not like this elite scorer, in my opinion. Like, I know he can go off and have a good game. There's a lot of NBA players that can do that, but this guy is not an elite scorer. He is much more than that. He is a long point guard that can distribute the ball a little bit. He's a little bit of a playmaker, and he's long enough that he's a pretty good defender. And so he exhausts his energy a little bit more than just scoring. So I think whether he has a big game offensively or not really kind of comes down to the opponent, as well as what the rest of the offense, or what the rest of their offense is doing. So that's what I want to look for, and I don't want to place a huge point prop on this guy, knowing that he's much more live to go for like 18, 19 points than to go off for like 28. I think that's just the reality. Now, 23, 24 is maybe somewhat realistic just given the rule, but I like him a lot more at 18 or 19 points. And Bogdan's questionable. He was sick, I believe. He was being evaluated or something due to an illness. So keep your eye on that. But 11 points is, I don't know. Dude's been kind of cold lately. 112 points. I think they're going to need the offense. I'm not sure if he'll start or not, but 12 points. I don't know. Let's highlight that yellow because we don't want to get lost in the sauce with this guy. He may not even play a consistent role. I would say he'll have to, but again, we don't know that. And then DD, which is Dante DiVincenzo. Sorry, I cannot pronounce that. 12 points. Yeah. It's a reasonable matchup, and 12 points is pretty live for that. He's probably going to be, yeah, I don't know. I'd say he's likely to be kind of like the second guy in their offense today. OG's probably out, and yeah, I mean, I just see him being kind of like the second guy. So 12 points is more doable. I don't want to bet him much higher than that, but yeah, I'd say he's a guy that you can look at. DeRozan at 21 points. Yeah, the role's going to be there. These guys are absolutely depleted. Here lately, this guy was on fire, and I would say it's a pretty good matchup for him mostly. And so I would say 21 points is a very live number. If you can find it, go get it. Ayo DeSumo, he had a game the other day. I think, was it yesterday? He had quite the game. But I'm not going to go chasing that. This guy is not, again, not an elite scorer. He's not somebody, yeah. I'm just not chasing that. If I can get it at 8 points, sure. Caruso looks to be injured. I think it's the same toe that's been bothering him for quite some time. I would have played this, but, I'm not sure with this injury. Again, points, again, gap filler. He's more there for defense and just energy. But had he not been hurt, and everyone else is hurt, 9 points is pretty doable, I'd say, for him. But again, I'm probably not playing that bet. Simons, I believe, 23 points. Yeah, that's a pretty reasonable number for the guy. Kind of a tough matchup, but it's there. Banton, he's been getting quite the role lately. That's why it's highlighted, or not highlighted, but underlined green here. But, 12 points, yeah, you could crush that number. I didn't see him on the card that I was looking for or looking at earlier, placing bets. I didn't see him on there, but yeah, that's pretty live if you can find it. Scoot, from what I understand, he'll probably play, and 11 points is pretty doable, but this dude's been inconsistent as all heck. His role's inconsistent. Apparently, he's not progressing the way that you'd hope after coming back from injury. So just, beware of all that. I'm probably not going to play it, but 11 points is more than doable. Butler's ice cold right now. Injured, might have something to do with it. That's why he's all the way down at 14 points. Rozier's been dominating the ball offensively. Bam as well, but this guy is running the point, and he's going to be touching the ball and bringing the ball up and down the court. 13 points. I've been getting this number for a few weeks now, and it's been hitting pretty regularly, so 13 points is pretty live. Fox at 20 points. Yeah, this guy's a little bit inconsistent too, but 20 points is a low number for him. If he's on, I would say he is kind of an elite scorer. And when his float game's on, that dude's got a beautiful floater. But yeah, Fox is the 20 points is, I would say, live. Kind of a bit of a tough matchup, but pretty reasonable number. Monk, 16 points. Yeah, reasonable number. Just, again, you don't know what the role's actually going to be. I mean, this guy's role super inconsistent. So I know he's, leading candidate for 6th man of the year and all that. But, we've seen at times in the year that, between him and Herter, just you don't know who's going to get the minutes. So I don't love placing bets on stuff like that. Cade's hurt. He's cold. He's not playing as well offensively as he has been. Jaden Ivey, 14 points. He's been hitting this pretty regularly. I think I bet it the other day, and he didn't hit it. He came up a little bit short. But again, it's a low number, and if Cade's not playing, then Ivey's pretty live to get to this number. Halliburton, 17 points. Very tough matchup. 8 assists. That's a low number for him. He hasn't been killing it in his assists lately, but again, this dude is one of the best distributors in the league, hands down. And if you can find an 8 assist prop on this guy, especially because it's a tougher matchup, I think they're playing Cleveland, and so Isaac Okoro or whatever will be guarding this guy more than likely. And if that's the case, it's going to be tough on him offensively. And it's always the path of least resistance. And so, with that being said, Halliburton will probably be trying to distribute the ball a little bit more than score, which is just kind of the player he is anyways. You always got to take into consideration, who the player is, what's his role, what's he best at, and, try to find props on that. I'm not big on assist props personally, but, when it comes to a guy like Halliburton, I'm, more than willing to look at that. Maxi's going to have a huge role, not a great matchup, but, they just don't have much else. So 24 points, that's probably pretty live. Dude's been crushing it offensively lately anyway. So 24 points, pretty live. Buddy Hill, yeah, we don't know what his role's going to be, but 8 points is a low number. I'm not running to bet it. Oubre, hot, 18 points. I'd love it more at a lower number. So if you can get Oubre at a lower number, Certainly, yeah, look for that. But Curry, tough matchup, 18 points. Curry, you're probably not going to find this. This is the thing with Curry, because of the name value, and because of what he can do shooting the ball, you're not going to be able to find like an 18-point prop on this guy. But just look at the numbers. I mean, this guy is great. I don't want to discredit Curry for anything he's done. He's one of the best ever. He's one of the best shooters. Like, he is the best shooter of all time. But offensively, I ain't going to go place no 25. I mean, this guy better be on like a, 20 to 25 to 30 point 10 game streak for me to run and place a bet on this guy, because that's his game. And if his shot's not falling, then that's that. It's a wrap. He's really relying on his 3-point game way too much. So I ain't running a bet that. Clay, inconsistent role now. We all know that, on and off the bench, whatever. 16 points. So he's been getting this number pretty regularly lately. And because it is kind of a tough matchup, I believe that the opponent is pretty tough. Interior defense, and that means that there is going to be a little bit more like catch and shoot type offense going on, and it is the Warriors, which are known for this type of offense anyways. Move the ball and take open shots. Clay is, I would say, pretty live for this number, honestly. I'd say that he's a pretty good candidate to get to 16 points. And then Keontae, yeah, 18 points. He's been doing pretty good offensively, but I seen the rumblings of, he got pulled the last game. Coach wasn't happy. He wasn't executing the game plan or the offense the way that the coach likes, so he got pulled. And so even though he's live for this number, he is a rookie, and he did just recently get pulled. And so I'm probably not running to place this bet, but it is a live number, okay? Sexton, I think he's been moved back to the bench with Clarkson out. He's going to be playing more of the sixth man. This guy is an absolute threat offensively. His quickness and his speed allows, even though he's a small guard, it allows him to get by people and get to the rim for easy layups. So, 17 points, I actually don't mind that at all. Sexton at 17 points, I'll take it. Anyways, with that being said, I like the Sexton. I do like that point prop. It is kind of a tough matchup, and if he's coming off the bench, it messes with things just a little bit, but that's not the worst. Maxey, good, in a really good spot, but role wise, but again, tough matchup. Let's see, Rozier. I like that bet. I like the Rozier bet. I do like this Simons bet, the 23 points. It scares me just a little bit, because there's been times where this dude's minutes will just get cut, so that is a little bit worrisome. DeRozan at 21 points. I like that. He should have the role. Brunson, I don't know if I might have skipped by Brunson. Did I speak about this guy? Brunson is in a pretty good spot. He's actually been red hot offensively. The other day, after coming back from injury, I think he'd played one game, and I knew that his minutes were going to be down just a bit. And the dude had been hot offensively, and I bet him under 27, and I think that was his first game going for like 40 plus. And I was just kicking myself over this. But I thought my bet had more to do with maybe him having a bit of a minutes restriction, and that didn't come to fruition. The dude ended up playing full minutes and going off for 40 points. And honestly, it was pretty live. And then I think in the fourth quarter, the dude just went absolutely ham. But 25 points on this guy's pretty live. It's in a pretty reasonable matchup. I don't have an issue with this prop at all. DeJounte Murray, or yeah, is it DeJounte? Anyways, DeJounte Murray, is that right? Either way, 21 points. If you can get him at 18, 19, snatch it up as quick as possible. Jaylen Brown, if he's playing 25 points, but like I said, you get him a little bit lower, let's grab it. Garland, 15 points, let's grab it. Yeah, I don't mind the Brandon for rebound prop. You know, you get if you can get Jaren Jalen or Jaren Jackson. Sorry, I don't know. I just put these initials and it's got me all messed up. If you can get Jaren Jackson at 18 points and Bane at 17 or 18 points, those aren't too bad. I mean, not the greatest matchup in the world, but the role's going to be there. I like the Hart rebound prop. Let's grab that. Let's grab Jalen Johnson. There's Jalen Johnson. You get him at, you know, I have him at 18 points. I think that's a live number. But again, you know, if you can get this even odds at a lower number, let's snatch that up. The Bam rebound prop, like that. You know, you get him at 9. You know, maybe even 10. We can snatch that up. And even the points prop's really not too bad. I mean, a little bit tougher matchup, but it's not a bad one to place. The Vucevic points prop, not too bad. LeBron, yeah, I don't mind the props on this guy. And then your Sabonis rebound prop and even the points prop, I don't mind that. The points, he's in a bit of a tougher matchup, but offensively, he's fairly consistent. You know, 17 is not a huge number. And dominant rebounder, so if you get to 10, 11 rebounds, let's snatch that up too. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I ran through it all with you guys, and, you know, you do what you will with this information. If you want me to just kind of scroll through it real quick, I'll just kind of go slowly. And that's it. That's my props. I'm gonna hop off here and I'm gonna start putting together some stuff. Hopefully, hit some cash tonight, boys and ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. Okay. Anyways, again, this is the PropSpot, Correlation Nation, and good luck to everybody. I hope you guys win some bread tonight.